I heard Omegon hung up a Christmas stocking for me. Now where the fuck is that thing? Ah, here it is. Now what's in it? There doesn't seem to be anything in it. I think
How the fuck did you get in here? Welcome back. Today, with the help of Sceptic Llama, who has somehow found his way into my humble abode deep down in some watery place, we are going to be collaborating on a video about toxic whiteness.
This is a YouTube series where, through an open letter to you, I, Melissa A. Fabello, discuss social justice topics for other white feminists.
But remember, this is only for white feminists. So if you're anything else than white, like completely white, pale, like paper sheet white, then I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to leave this video right now. It's not my rules, it's Melissa's rules.
Seems fair. I mean, if you're going to focus your attentions on Taylor Swift, a very privileged white woman who has never really stated her political views, then we're going to have to ask all people of colour that are feminists to kindly do one.
If you don't understand these ideas, you belong with me.
Wait, you don't understand it, and you're going to be explaining it to us. This is totally not going to go wrong.
And today, we're talking about whiteness.
As we've already ascertained, you don't even know what you're going to be talking about. A small part of me wished it was going to be you talking about teeth whitening. Seemed like you might know more about that than skin colour.
And how by not acknowledging it or actively working to dismantle it, we contribute to the oppression of people of color.
Look, I love dismantling things as much as anyone else, right? Like, I totally love it. But I kind of need some tools. A giant hammer.
Now, hold up. Oppression? That sounds kind of serious. Isn't oppression like governmental? Doesn't it involve explicit hatred toward and violence against groups?
Look, I'm not from America, so I wouldn't know how you as a white person in America treat your black friends. But here in Norway, we treat our black friends like people, and we don't treat them like different, because they're totally not different.
Yes, and while that particular rhetoric in America has tried to bleed into the United Kingdom, it has somewhat been thwarted. Okay, we do have it, but it's on a very lower scale. Lesser scale? Lower scale? Doesn't matter, we don't really have it on the scale America has it. Sorry, America.
Well, no. Not entirely.
Well, imagine my shock.
Oppression is the socially supported mistreatment and exploitation of a group. Which means that, yeah, it's absolutely institutionalized and systemic. But it's also implicitly supported by our everyday thoughts and behaviors.
Okay, so we're going to use what she says as the 3 expressions of sexuality and break each one down individually.
Through anti-abortion legislation.
Abortion is expression of sexuality.
I'm not entirely sure how having an abortion or having access to an abortion is an expression of your sexuality. Unless, of course, abortion is somehow on the spectrum.
Limiting access to other birth control, and making our nipples illegal.
I lied. We're not going to be breaking them down, although I am going to point out that in the United States, you don't know your own state laws. Quite a number of states actually permit women to be topless. Whether the local law enforcement know it or not is a different matter, but if you show them the law, they are obliged to obey it.
But we support that bullshit when we, say, sing about women who are better known for the things that they do on the mattress. I know you know that, Tay. You've spoken up about your past sex shaming.
Oh yeah, do you guys remember that old country song? I think it was Sally Shagged Me Last Week, and the pop song Hump a Bump on the Tump in Bed.
And Taylor, I know that you know that it's also implicitly supported by men who don't admit that sexism exists or that they benefit from it.
I don't think anyone is denying that sexism exists. I think they're questioning what constitutes sexism, because it is quite broad these days, whether it be saying hello and yes, that has happened before, to simply grazing past somebody on the way to the bar and being accused of sexual harassment.
Which brings us back to whiteness.
Sorry, 2 seconds. Let's see. I got my mail here, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. Oh, look. I got my privilege check in the mail. I've earned a couple of $100,000 this week.
White supremacy oppresses people of color.
And are you going to be sharing any instances of white supremacy in your video? Also, just to expand upon this idea of a racial supremacy, would you not agree that having white people constantly demonized because they're white and their existence is wrong, which I can agree with to an extent? I prefer No Lives Matter. Would you not agree that by doing that, you are promoting people of color supremacy, which, if anything, is equally as racist as white supremacy? Although I'd say it's debatable whether or not it's more or less powerful when you think that white supremacy is usually associated with the KKK and the now watered down heavily word Nazi, which should be neo-Nazi. Really should be neo-Nazi. Stop calling him Nazi.
Oh, poor black women. You're so oppressed. I mean, oh, how are we ever supposed to help you? I mean, I'm already ignoring your skin color whenever I talk to you. What more can I do? I should give up all my money for all the black American women out there, because they're so oppressed.
I think Gazi Kotso would like a piece of that action too. I'm not convinced he's female.
And no, white supremacy doesn't just mean KKK members and neo-Nazis.
Of course not. The whole problem is the very fact that white people exist, and I'm all for erasing them. I really am. Hashtag No Lives Matter. No White Lives Matter. Hashtag No White Lives Matter. Oh, if I got that right the first time, it probably wouldn't sound so stupid.
White supremacy also takes the form of exotifying and objectifying the bodies of women of color.
Big black booty with some bootylicious bling right there.
Romanticizing and glamorizing European colonization.
I bless the rains down in Africa!
And using white fragility and victimhood to demonize people of color.
Wait, did you just say white fragility to demonize black people? Did you just say that?
Yup. Kinda had me thinking, well, if people of color are so easily offended by white people and what white people do and say, then perhaps people of color fragility should also be a thing.
You know what you basically said here, right? What you basically said is that the fact that black people kill white people is white privilege. The fact that that can exist, that a black man can kill a white man, is white privilege.
And I'm sorry, Tay, but no, you cannot be excluded from this narrative. Because although you never asked to be a part of it, you are.
Because you never took a side, or aired which side you took in the battle of the sexes. And now, of course, the battle of the races. Remember, it's okay to say Black Lives Matter, but it's not okay to say White Lives Matter. Or it's okay to be white.
We all are.
Inherently guilty! You know, this is the same argument that religion uses to say that anyone born is inherently sinful.
Because that is the world we were born into and the systems we were socialized under.
Created. Socialized. Replace it with created. What I find truly fascinating about all of this is that yes, white people dominated the world. They conquered it. They conquered America. Well, they conquered it anyway. I want my tea back. In any case, those systems were created by people of a more advanced race. And yes, the circumstances that happened with slavery and everything, not great. Not great on history at all. Not great on any race in any area of history. But the systems that are in place that you believe enable toxic whiteness to exist don't exist anymore. They are now totally in your mind, made up, fictitious. They are as real as Dumbledore, who dies at the end of every single good movie now. And the shit ones like Star Wars, go Star Trek.
Whiteness, the valuing of especially white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant culture to the point of its widespread normalization, is socially constructed.
You heard it here first, guys. We should all become Africans!
We created the idea of whiteness, its superiority, and who gets invited into it.
Wait. You're telling me that someone can be invited to be white? Is that what happened to Michael Jackson? Did he get a, formal invitation from the Council of White?
Probably some grand wizard offering him some children.
To join the white cult? I mean, did he have to join the KKK? Did he become a white supremacist when he changed?
You know, I actually thought about this long and hard, and I came to the conclusion that even the KKK didn't want to be associated with Michael Jackson because after all those surgeries they weren't convinced he was still human.
Whiteness is present in our romanticization of Americana. It's present in our cultural obsession with country music.
Cultural obsession with country music. I don't think you've actually looked around. Recently, the most popular music is like rap and shit. And where did that come from? Oh yeah, the black community. You should really drop that from your videos.
It's present in our social understanding of wealth and the American dream. It's all around us, embedded in the fabric of our society.
Well then, the only solution available is to simply ban country music. Let's continue to allow rap music to exist. It's not like any white person's ever made it big being a rapper. Can Tay-Tay actually play the banjo? I would like to see that. With some rednecks.
And we even unknowingly celebrate and therefore uphold it all the time. But white supremacy can't be dismantled unless those of us who hold power divest from whiteness.
Hey. If you want the black rural community, you can totally move to Africa!
The problem is we need to be comfortable addressing that it exists first. And admitting that it gives us an advantage.
Oh. That's not what happens in my dreams, but, you know, to each their own.
Before we end this video, I want to summarize what I think about this whole white privilege or toxic whiteness that this lady is talking about. For something like meritocracy to truly succeed, we have to stop thinking about race. We live in an equal society. Now there are injustices, yes, and they need to be addressed. But people of all different views need to come together and agree on it. Because if you don't understand the point being made about how something is unequal, with evidence by the way, not with feelings, with evidence, then we're not going to get anywhere. And things like this, where people continually talk about race like it's the big hot topic of the day, are going to persist and hold us back.
Thank you for having me on, Omegon. That was fun as always. And I will totally be around if you ever need me again. And remember guys, stay fucking classy.
Why did I agree to work with you again?